shit in so many different ways, because your shit will define your spiritual journey. Because like my shit happened to be like me growing up poor. My dad was in and out of my life. And then on top of that, I've had so many issues with me being homeless, me not being able to manage money because I didn't have a father figure and my mom was poor. So like the soup that created me, my childhood, the trauma, the this, the that, whatever, it created me. Like a guy that would have money issues, a guy that would end up being homeless, because of my own shit, right? But getting over my shit and embracing my shit is really what spirituality is all about. Embrace the fucked up things that have happened to you and use those things to help other people who have gone through similar fucked up things. But for people like Teal Swan, most people haven't gone through that extreme thing. I mean, a lot of women have gone through sexual trauma and like just sexual issues like that as when they're children, especially when they're going into puberty. But Teal Swan's situation is a little different, but that's why she's a spiritual teacher. My situation is a little different. That's why I'm a spiritual teacher. Because my situation wasn't just from life trauma. My spirituality, or my trauma, I guess, is smoking DMT. Like, and I know that sounds funny, but this is reality. That my most traumatic things that have happened to me are death. Like being introduced to death too young, at a young age, where it's like basically the head of my household was my grandmother, because we all lived in the same house. And when she died of cancer in the house, I felt that the whole family switched up and changed and broke apart, and like it was traumatizing for a 3-year old. So like as I grew up, went into counseling, my whole thing. But as I was watching the Teal Swan thing, I was sitting here like, wow, this is the point. Like, the point is not to stop suffering. Like, I love Buddha, but damn, Buddha, like, you're trying to make it so everyone's just this long fucking guy. And I'm trying to explain to you that would be boring. No lessons would be learned. There would be nothing happening. Like, there's a happening. And the happening that's happening just happens to be life. And everyone always says, if God exists, why would God allow the traumatic problems in the world, all these fucked up things and all this thing? Because those things are also God. Like, God is not what religion has sold us. It's everything. Like, it's more what the psychedelic people are trying to tell us. But because the psychedelic people aren't trying to sell us anything. Now, this gets into my other end of this conversation, because I wanted to touch upon some of the things that were mentioned in that Teal Swan documentary, because she was right. I don't really like spirituality either. Like, right? Like, there's a reason why I've been broke. I've been trying to stay away from money. I've been anti-money, but I can't because I've been homeless. I got like, there's certain things that I'm like, well, I can't do this anymore. I got to start gaining more financial freedom instead of just this mental freedom that I have. And, but the problem is with spirituality, like, and that, they said in the documentary, she was saying that spirituality is like a business. And then she was showing videos of Tony Robbins, videos of the Dalai Lama, videos of what the fuck, Deepak Chopra. um, Basically, they're all business people. They're not, and like the fuck thing about life is the farther. This is what happens when you have information, but you don't have like almost direct experience. And maybe some of them do, but then you get so disconnected because you start living so good that you forget where you came from. So like Tony Robbins is an amazing dude, right? His knowledge is fucking amazing. He helps so many people, it's fucking amazing. But he's so rich that he's disconnected from us. Like like this is the problem with some of these people, is they get so something that they end up being disconnected from the real people. Like, because I don't want to say it's easy for Teal Swan to say, you know, she got over her trauma, because her trauma was like rough. You know, she went through some shit. But to go through some shit, then you've helped thousands of people. You've made so much money. You're able to travel. You're able to whatever. You have this financial freedom. You have this thing. So, yeah, of course, you feel so much better. If she was not financially successful, if she was not helping people, would she still feel as good as she feels? Would she have been able to get over the trauma? That is the question. That's why I'm still here at the bottom. And I guess I'm not really at the bottom, but I am. I live in a shitty ass 1 bedroom apartment in the projects. Like, because I don't want to. Eventually, I'm going to move when I have the ability to do that. But I like the fact that I'm still one of you. That I'm still the same as everybody else. That, like, as spiritual as I am, my spirituality came from me having the balls to smoke high doses of DMT multiple times a day until I got to know what it really was, how to maneuver in that space. There is a way to maneuver in DMT space, just like when you come to Earth, you know, it takes you time to learn how to walk and crawl and move and speak and think. It does this. It's the same thing in DMT space. And this is my spiritual thing, because there's two sides of this spiritual person, the spiritual leaders. There's the Tony Robbins, and then there's people like Terrence McKenna. And then there's people like Ralph Smart, and then there's people like Teal Swan. And then there's people like me. And all of us are spiritual leaders. Every single person. So for me, my only issue is that I don't tell people what they want to hear. So it's taking me longer to get where I'm trying to go, because I'm just being me. I really, now my intention is a little different. Like, I'm doing the life coaching thing, so it's more one-on-one things with people. I'm doing that, but like, originally the only idea I had with this was to document my journey, where most of these spiritual leaders, they have already went through their journey, and then they start talking about it, and then they explain to us how they, you know, did it, or all the knowledge they have, or whatever. Then they gain a following, then they start doing seminars, then they start doing retreats, or whatever. But we never seen them struggle. We heard about it, we didn't see it. Like, we heard about it years after they already got through it. And that's great, because so many of us, we like, you don't, there's so many life coaches out there where it's like, they'll say, because I did it, you know, be life coached by me because I'm where you want to be. And I get that, yeah. But my perspective is, I'm still me, even though I'm going through the struggle, still me. And I know how to get through the struggle, because I'm walking through hell with a smile on my face, happy as a motherfucker. Why? Because I'm actually still in this thing. And I'm learning everything I can from being in it before I leave it. Because once I leave it, I'm not going back. Like, I can see why Teal Swan, you know, there's all these people that are on their spiritual journey, or they're spiritual leaders, but they're no longer on their spiritual journey. They think that the journey is over, and their journey now is to heal people, or help in the healing process with people, or give them knowledge, or help them start their journey. Or, yes, that is part of it. Part of my journey is for me to explain as much as I can about psychedelics, DMT, ayahuasca, mushrooms, LSD, all the different plants and herbs, my perspective on these things, so then somebody else who has not even started their journey has information about the whole thing, right? About what they're about to get themselves into. Because that's really what I'm doing. The reason why, like, I'm not the guy that you want to listen to in the beginning unless you are planning on going deep. Because, like, there's people like Psych Substance, who is another aspect of this, right? Because there's so many different aspects of this that's happening, because it's all kind of, it's happening now. So, like, it's all new. Where it's like, because of the internet, we have people like Teal Swan, like Ralph Smart, like Terrence McKenna, like me, like Psych Substance, like, I mean, even just the basic normal philosophers, I would say, like Carpo 719. Um, I would say that he's more just a life philosopher speaking about life, speaking about what's on his mind. I do a similar thing, but like I do me. So like my ideas with what I'm trying to do with this, the reason why I'm trying to spread out all the knowledge in my head, everything that I think or whatever, it's because like man, I wish I had some information when I started this. Like I wish I had my channel. I wish I had a me. So and I had Terrence, right? I had Teal Swan, I had Ralph Smart, I had Psych Substance, I had all these these things, Ram Dass, Timothy Leary. I got to listen and see their perspective and see their journey, but somebody else's journey will never give you the full picture on where your journey needs to go, like on where you need to go. So like I just started documenting everything, right? Documenting my growth, documenting my trips, documenting my experiences, my life experiences, documenting my family experiences, the relationship I have with my daughter, the relationships I've been in over the years. The every time I go through a breakup, I document it, I express it, I say, this is what happened, or this is what I'm thinking, or this is what I feel, or I'm making music, or whatever. I'm literally just documenting my life as I just go through life and telling my ideas, what I want to do with life, whatever. And so many people always say that, you shouldn't say what you want to do, just do it and let the results speak for themselves. And I'm like, I guess, but like then you have another Teal Swan, then you have another Ralph Smart, then you have another Tony Robbins, which is just another, and it's great, but we don't need another Teal Swan, another Tony Robbins. We need the one and only you. So like that's why I express the one and only me. I can only be me. As much as sometimes I wish I could be different because I know how I am, I just also know I like being me because it feels better to be me. That's how I healed my trauma. Part of my trauma when I was a teenager was not being myself. And like feeling like I couldn't be myself because feeling like I would lose my friends or feeling like I would no longer be popular or feeling like people would judge me or whatever. So I acted like a thug and I started adopting the ideas of thugs and living the thug life, talking like it, walking like it, thinking like it, listening to music that's only thug music. And like even back then I loved pop music. Like I fucking loved pop music. But I was embarrassed to listen to pop music, so I listened to gangster rap and like all this other shit or whatever. So part of my trauma was breaking out of that. So now I'm just so me that it's fucking freeing because I remember what it was like to not be me. I remember what it was like to think before I spoke to whatever, and all this shit just gave me anxiety, depression, freaked me out, made me feel like not myself. So now I'm so myself that sometimes it's overbearing, right? Sometimes it's just, just too much me. But I feel like that's the way to go for me. And like, because this is me as, like, I don't like saying I'm a spiritual leader or a spiritual teacher, but I also, like, because I'm humble enough to not just be like, yeah, I'm a spiritual leader, but I also can see reality. I can see that that's what I actually am. That like there's this thing that I do with my life. It's the way I live my life. It's the way I think when I wake up in the morning. It's the way I think all day long. It's that this is all I do. It's all I think about. I'm single and I've been single and I plan on staying single for a while because I just want to be me. And like I want to be able to take risks without somebody saying, we got the bills, and I fuck the bills. If I end up homeless again, I've been homeless. I'm not scared of nothing. But at the same time, I'm doing this much better than I did before. So I won't. end up in the same place that I was before. These risks that I take will work out, and everything that I'm going through and everything that I do will eventually work out. It's just a matter of time. It's a matter of algorithm or pattern where it's like all I gotta do is repeat the pattern over and over and over again until the results happen. But I'm not just someone that's gonna let the results speak for themselves. I can speak for myself. I'll speak the whole fucking way through because that's part of my spiritual journey that will probably help other people because I want other people to see that this is real. Also, to see that, because everyone says, what if it doesn't work out for you? Well, I'm fine doing what I'm doing right now for the rest of my life. So it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just having fun, growing, learning, exploring, traveling the psychedelic world, learning from all these different plants and herbs that most people have never even heard of. And like, getting to know myself, making music, building my Mark Dreams brand up. Because this is where I can see where the business aspect of spirituality intertwines. But this is why I've been thinking about this for so long, planning this out for so long, that now it's time for me to do something with this. Like, most people don't understand, my album Psychedelics and Computers was technically done a year ago, right? Like, I made some of those songs in 2018. But the reason, like, is even right now, I'm 3 albums ahead. I am already working on, and I don't want to say too much, but like, possibly there will be a Psychedelics and Computers 2. But before that, like right now, I'm working on The Lonely Psychonaut, which is which is another electronic EDM style psychedelic trance album. But then there's this other album I'm working on called Afro Kid that is basically going to be the return of me rapping again. And me rapping and singing on the beats, not just like instrumental style music. But then I have Psychedelics and Computers 2, which will then be, Psychedelics and Computers, that whole vibe again, all like the whole album, that whole vibe, but all different brand new songs. And I've already started 2 of those songs. I work so much ahead of myself, and and this is all I do, 24/7. So like, so for me, it's just about documenting me, because this is my spiritual journey. My life. Life is a spiritual journey because you are a spirit in a human body, and that is a fucking journey. So like, for me, I'm just kind of working on all of this shit because the spiritual aspect, the psychedelics, the me explaining the deep aspects of psychedelics, I'll always do that for free. Always. I will always explain everything I know for free. I don't care how crazy I sound. I don't care whatever. I will always speak my mind and give everything I have for free. But the life coaching, the one-on-one sessions, the music, and like working on shows and the NFTs and all this stuff I'm doing, that's so I never have to charge for my spiritual knowledge. That's so I never have to charge someone for the spiritual shit that I have and for all the things that I've gone through and all the experiences I have and whatever. I want to still give that away for free. So it's been really hard trying to find the balance of like, being me, but also trying to figure out a way to make a living from this because like that's what really stuck out to me out of that documentary. And I fuck with Teal Swan and like I like her whole journey. But what really stuck out is I really vibed with when she said, she didn't really want to be in the spiritual thing because like it's like a business. And that's why I don't really want to do any of it. Like, that's why I would just rather be a homeless man in the jungle. But I can't. I can't. The reason why I have been homeless multiple times is because I prefer the life of a homeless man. And I know people do not understand that. They don't. People judge me for saying that shit. People look at me crazy for saying that shit. But I'm not talking about like the homeless man on the street. I'm talking about, I would tell that homeless man, why don't you just go to the Amazon rainforest and live with the shamans? I'm pretty sure they'll let you live there. You just do the work. You have to work, or whatever, maybe clean their toilets or whatever the fuck you gotta do. But doing, like, that's the life I would want to live. Doing nothing. Drinking ayahuasca, staring at the trees, meditating, eating fruit, and living my life. That's about it. That's it. I don't need anything to be happy. I don't need anything. I just need peace. But I understand my life's journey. Eventually, I will get there. Trust me. I'll get there. But I can't stay there permanently. Like, as this whole thing goes on, I get more financial freedom. I am going to go to the Amazon rainforest to chill with some shamans, drink ayahuasca, drink some San Pedro, enjoy just being in the jungle, smelling the jungle, hearing the jungle, and like just being, and enjoy that peace for a second, like that not doing anything. But at the same time, I'm so in love with the way I live my life that I would probably end up having to bring a laptop with FL Studio so I can make sure that anytime I get an idea that I make a beat or something. Because that's all I want to do all day long. Like, I'll hear music in my head, so I'll have to make a beat, or all these ideas or all these melodies, or the NFT projects I'm working on. Like I said, all I do is this 24/7. It's a 24/7 job. It never goes away. It never stops. I wake up in the morning and I think about this, and I start this, and I work on this, and I'm working on learning how to DJ to start having shows. And before I have a show, I actually might want to get out the Lonely Psychonaut album first, so then I have two styles of music that I can bounce back from, where it's like I can kind of judge an audience, where it's like if I'm performing at a concert and I'm looking at the audience, if it's a certain style of audience or certain vibe, that's maybe upbeat, I would play psychedelics and more songs from Psychedelics and Computers. If it's more of a vibe of people who are just like vibing and shit, maybe even they look like they're tripping balls or something, maybe play a little bit of both Psychedelics and Computers and the Lonely Psychonaut, so they can have this feeling of like feeling connected. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I got this whole fucking idea of what I'm trying to do with my music, my concerts, my spirituality thing. I want to start doing seminars, for the spiritual thing, and I might possibly want to be one of the first people to try to mix seminars or workshops with concerts, with raves, with DJing, with whatever, and somehow mix them both, because I do both, and I'm one of the first people that I've ever seen that does both, right? Because it's not like Teal Swan makes music or DJs, or it's not like, Terrence McKenna was also on stage, kicking a beat and rapping or something, during the break. Because there'll be like probably 15-minute breaks or 15-minute whatever, during like a workshop or during like a seminar that I do or whatever, and I just have all these ideas, and it's so shitty because I think like 3 years in advance. So as I'm thinking of everything I'm doing, I say it, and for some people, they'll be like, yo, I thought you were doing yada yada yada. And it's like, I am. I just have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 first before I can get to the fifth thing, which is the seminars or the shows or whatever. But before I can get to that, I have to make the songs, and before I can make songs, I have to get inspired to make songs. So then I just live my life. I go on hikes, I do my thing, I trip balls, I travel psychedelic worlds, I travel the internet and look, and research and learn, and I explore. I spend time with my daughter. I built this connection with my daughter, and just I built this thing with my life or whatever. And it's kind of like this self-sustaining wheel that always inspires me. I live a very inspirational life, so therefore I'm always inspired. I'm always making music, or I'm always doing something, working on something, thinking of something, and like it's just kind of this thing where it's like I'm now just living this way, and I just document it, and it's interesting because like I've watched my channel like grow over the years, and you could see literally in my videos as I've been evolving and growing or whatever, and that's what I wanted. Like, that was my goal, but I had no idea that was really gonna happen. It's just 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I had that goal to like was thinking, I wonder if I'll get smarter, or I wonder if I'm gonna get better at speaking. I wonder if I'm actually, like, if Psychedelics and Computers is gonna get done when I think about it. I wonder if the songs are gonna be as good as I imagine. I wonder, like, that's what it was like 6 years ago. Because 6 years ago, I was just making this thing. I was making songs here and there with no intention of making an album. But when I heard about 5 songs that all sounded like they went together, I decided to make an album. And that's when I thought about, well, let me make Psychedelics and Computers the album. But then it's almost like in my imagination, I heard the songs, even though there was only 5 songs done then. It's like I heard the whole album with my imagination. And I listen to the album now, and that's exactly what the fuck I heard. So, like, I'm just kind of following this vision. I got these spiritual visions. I get them from psychedelics. I get them from meditation, from being sober, from just living life. And I just follow my visions. And, yeah. So, I don't know why the fuck. Of course, I ended up rambling in the video. That's what I do. But, like, I kind of just wanted to explain because watching that documentary got my mind thinking about, like, how I'm on a spiritual journey too. And Teal Swan inspires me. People like that inspire me. Because, like, she's on this journey doing her thing. And eventually I want to get to the point, too, where I'm doing seminars or whatever. But my journey is different because I'm an artist. I love to make music. I love to travel dimensions with psychedelics. I love to learn from the entities in the DMT space. I love to communicate with them. And I've taught myself how to communicate with them by learning how to shut up in my head while while the DMT is just bombarding me with, like, the whole thing. But, like, it's a whole nother video for another time. I will ramble on for the next fucking hour if y'all let me. So I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Y'all are fucking amazing. And don't be scared to start your spiritual journey, right? Like, cause a lot of people, they're not recording themselves. They're not documenting themselves, even though they want to. Maybe they want to start making content. Maybe they want to start making TikTok videos. Maybe they want to start making YouTube videos. But they don't want to because they're like, I want to wait until I get to the point. And it's like, no. Start now. Document the journey of you trying to get to that point. And I know you're embarrassed about, well, what if I don't get to that point? Don't think about that. Don't make it about the point. Make it about the journey. Just, that's what I do.